Okay, today in my video I'm going to be doing something a little bit different than just kind of like telling an awkward story or talking about me. I'm going to talk about books that I've read, but they're all by the same author because I really only read books by Stephen King. But a lot of them I am comparing them to the movie, a couple of them I'm not. But the first one I'm going to talk about is Shawshank Redemption, and it's in a book that looks like this. It's not just Shawshank Redemption, it has 4 different stories in it. But I read the book and then I watched the movie, and I really enjoyed the movie adaptation of it. It was pretty similar to the book. It had some differences, but they weren't major differences except one of the characters. Okay, so don't get me wrong, I love Morgan Freeman. But in the book, his character that he plays is supposed to be a redhead. That's why his name in the story is Red. So I guess that's the only complaint that I have about that. The second book story that I'm going to talk about is called The Apt Pupil, and that's basically about a former Nazi. He's like old and stuff, and he moved to the United States, and then this kid discovers that he is a former Nazi, and he starts to manipulate him to telling him all these stories and kind of making him relapse into his Nazi-ness ways, and he kind of goes a little bit crazy. But I liked, because usually in Stephen King's books he makes the adult really dark and crazy and psycho, but in this one he made the kid, and it was really super good. The only complaint I had about the movie was that he didn't make the kid as creepy and psycho as he could have, but it was still a really good movie. They didn't really stray far from the plot or make any major changes to it. The third thing I'm going to talk about, this one, okay, so I read The Shining, and it's in this big book. There's 3 books in it, which they're all fantastic, amazing. But Shining, so it was a really long story, but I don't mind that. But the movie just kind of left me dissatisfied. I really didn't like how much they changed the ending, but then further analysis came along. I reread the ending of the book and rewatched the ending of the movie, and I noticed that in all of the pictures in the movie, at the end of the movie they pan out and there's pictures on the hotel wall, and Jack Torrance is in all of the pictures. So basically they set the movie in a different... Okay, so this is really hard to explain. I'm sorry, I'm not doing a good job. But the book and the movie ending both happened. What's basically happening is this situation happens over and over again with Jack and his family living in the hotel, and him going crazy. So it's just a reoccurring experience. And so the book was one of those reoccurrences, and then the movie was a different one, which is why they had different endings. So after I kind of accepted that, it was better. But I also wanted them to kind of focus more on the beginning of the book too, because it has a lot of important information that they kind of just left out. And it was more of he just kind of snapped in the movie. It wasn't a slow progression of him going crazy. But I guess they couldn't take that much time making him crazy, because it was a long movie anyways, with leaving out a bunch of stuff that happened in the book, and making it kind of go quicker and stuff. So I guess I can't really blame them. And then the third book that I'm going to talk about, I'm going to grab it, is Firestarter. There is not a movie, I don't think, for this one, but this is the one that I've most recently read. And oh my gosh, it was really good. It's basically about this little girl who has pyrokinesis abilities, and her dad also has special mind control abilities to some extent. And her parents were in a test, a little experiment or whatever in college, so they could earn some money, and then they both had her, and their little abilities went to her, and so the government's chasing after them. And the girl in this book she's 7 or 8 years old, and it's just really amazing how strong of a character she is and how much personality she has at 7 and 8 years old. And spoilers, I'm gonna like, you're watching this, so I'm assuming you don't mind spoilers, but like towards the end of the book, the dad dies, and it's just like so amazing seeing how strong she is through all of that. I don't know. I really liked it. And then the next one is The Mist. This one is a movie, and oh my gosh, all of the casting is basically like a Walking Dead reunion. There's like, okay, they have the girl who plays, oh gosh, Andrea. They have Dale. They have Carol. And I feel like they have one more from The Walking Dead. So basically it's just like a Walking Dead reunion. But I have a huge complaint both about the book and the movie. I really disliked the ending for both. In the book, basically, The Mist is about just random mist that just comes on this town and these creatures live in it. And so they're like all holed up in this supermarket. And so a group eventually leaves. It's a woman, a man, his son, and one more character. They all leave, and in the book, it just ends on their journey. Like, there is no closure. Like, it doesn't say, oh, well, they all died, or, oh, like, they all made it, or whatever. But in the movie, the man ends up, they've run out of gas, and the mist is still real thick among them. And so the man has a gun, but he only has 3 bullets for 4 people. So first, he shoots his son. He shoots the woman, then he shoots the other woman. And then he gets out of the car so like he can let the creatures eat him or whatever. And then instead of creatures coming, it's the military and the fog is clearing. So he basically just killed the only person he had left, his son, and this woman that he like hooked up with, and this random other old woman who doesn't really matter that much. And that just made me so upset on the inside. Like, I don't know, it just left me just like, Anyway, sorry. The next book that I'm going to talk about took me forever to read because it's a huge book. But it's 11/22/63, and if you don't know what it's about, there's a Hulu short series about it too, and I've watched that too. But basically, it's about a time traveler who goes back in time to try to prevent the Kennedy assassination. And so, I really liked both the book and the Netflix series. Like, I wasn't really disappointed with either of them. No, it's not Netflix, it's Hulu. I'm sorry. But the Hulu series did, like, have quite a few things that were different from the book, but they were, like, pleasant changes. Like, I liked them. I wouldn't have liked it if it was like that in the book, but I liked the series being like that. Also, excellent casting choice. James Franco was amazing in it. I recommend watching it. But in the book, they have a character in it. His name is Bill Turquette. I may be mispronouncing that, but I don't care. And anyway, he dies like shortly, or he's not like a main character or whatever in the book, but in the show or the series or whatever, he is a main character, and I absolutely love his character. It just, whoever, I didn't look up the actor name before this, but whoever like plays Bill in the show just has like really great chemistry with James Franco, and it just made for like an amazing, like, I don't know, it just made me so great. And like all of the casting choices they did for the show was amazing. Like the cast just worked really well together, and I really liked it. And then I don't have that book to show you because my friend's actually borrowing it right now. And then the last book I'm going to show you is The Dark Half. This one was also like really, really, really good. It's about an author, and basically one of his characters essentially comes to life and starts murdering people. And this, at first when I started reading it, I was kind of worried because it seemed kind of similar to another book that Stephen King wrote, which is called The Secret Window, Secret Garden, something like that. And I was worried it was going to kind of have the same ending, like, oh, it's him, he's really the character that's killing people, like it was in The Secret Window. But it ends up, like, this author had a twin in the womb, but he ended up, like, absorbing him or whatever, and, like, it was a cyst on his brain or whatever, and they had it removed, but then, like, I don't know what happened. Like, the character ended up, like, taking form of his, like, dead twin brother or whatever. and just wreaking havoc. And it all like started happening after he essentially killed the character that came to life or whatever, killing people. But it was a really, really fantastic book. Like, I was so worried it was gonna be like really similar. I was like, oh, it's about an author and like his character is killing people or whatever. Like, it's gonna be real similar, but they were like nothing alike. It was amazing. But I have more I could talk about, but this is like already a really long video. So I really hope you enjoyed me discussing my books and their movie counterparts if they have one or if I've watched them. So if you have things you'd like me to discuss or talk about or questions for me to talk about in another video, vlog, or whatever, please comment them. I mean, I don't really have that many viewers right now, so I don't expect really anything. But if you like it, please subscribe and like my video and stuff. Well, thanks.